Hey guys, I'm Dov, and today I'm back with a very special Total War Warhammer 2 battle up against a, I guess, yellow sky. The DAWI proud here to fight against the Skaven in a massive aggressive vanguard. We're here with a nice themed 2v2 for you all. So yeah, generally this matchup is considered pretty tough for the DAWI. Let's see if we can't satisfy some grudges. Myself and Black Iron against a couple of random viewers. I just had a lobby open that people could jump in. So yeah, a couple of you had jumped in with us. Let's get to it. For my build, I've got miners with blasting charges, of course, and Norgrimling's Ironbreakers because they have Vanguard, and a ton of Rangers, mixed Bugmen's regular Rangers, and the Ulthar's Raiders, 2 Bombers, Ungrim Iron Fist trudging up the way. We've got a line of Longbeards for Black Iron, Dragonback Slayers, double Rune Lord, and a line of Vanguarded miners and Bugman's Rangers as well. You can see right off the bat here, Ikit's going to come forward. For the Skaven forces, we've got Ikit Claw leading his forces here for Clan Scryer. Got some missile units in the woods, couple of bolt throwers, or sorry, not bolt throwers, catapults. But yeah, things are unfolding very, very quickly here, so we're going to get straight to the action. There's a bunch of Plague Monks here for the army of Lord Skrolk, and they are just going to get filled with all of the quarrels. Look at all of this Ranger fire and the blasting charges. These Plague Monk Sensor Bearers literally won't even make it to the front line. They're just going to get absolutely torn to shreds by missiles. You can see these Bugman the Rangers here for Black Iron getting into range. Ikit had taken a bunch of damage from them, so he had to pull back out of range. The Ulthar's Raiders as well being very key, of course. They're a little marked by Ulthar and their own missile damage as well. Over here, though, it's mostly a tale of Plague Monks getting absolutely blown apart by blasting charges and just shredded by crossbows from every angle. You can see here why I wanted to go for the mass vanguard situation. We have a commanding hill position just raining down fire onto the Skaven, and they really have no way to push up onto the hill. Actually, you know, as soon as I say that, of course, 2 Death Runners come from the back with their concealment bombs. They are going to be able to get into some of these Rangers here. Honestly, though, I'm not too worried. I can bring the Bomber over to try and bomb them out. Maybe try and get some Ranger fire in there as well, but you can see here that Lord Skrolk's forces are not doing too hot. This Plague Monk here getting wrecked by Ungrim, and yeah, not really sure about this Clan Scryer force here. I guess these Skaven weapon teams were paid off not to help, because they absolutely, the Rattling Gunners especially, could have gunned down these choppers very, very quickly. They are a great counter for them, but because they're not, the choppers are raining their main gun on these high-value single-entity chariots. Over here, you can see Ikit's thing going off. Generally, the DAWI for Black Iron are pushing through. He's got a heavier front line than I do. These Longbeards and Slayers just grinding through here. You can see just heavy metal DAWI pushing forward. Also Norgrimling's Ironbreakers, of course, with their 90 unit models and 86 melee defense. We do have bombers in range, though. Up here, looks like we just missed a bombing run on some of those Death Runners up on the high ground. They had been able to finish off some of the Rangers. We took some damage there, but yeah, you can see there. Looks like the Rattling Gunners opening up on some of those miners that did stray into range there, which is not the best, but hey, it's alright. We're pretty far ahead on the balance of power at this point. Definitely some grudges being satisfied already, and the Ranger fire continues to be poured in here against these Rat Ogres that have regrouped. The Death Runners as well. This group of Death Runners, potentially a bit of a problem, but we are able to sort of stabilize here. You can see Black Iron's forces kind of pushing forward more heavily, whereas I'm just sort of sitting back on the hill, taking advantage of my Rangers as much as possible. The Sensor Bearers did come back from route, but they're not doing too hot, and the Bomber's able to rain in some shots here from above on Lord Skrolk, and he himself is just about done for. He's taken a ton of damage already. Ungrim over here slaying some Rat Ogres and Skaven slaves. Oh man, this battle might not be super close, but is it beautiful? Absolutely. And is it cathartic? Is it grudges satisfied? 100%. I know this matchup is generally considered to be very tough for the Dwarves, and yeah, I mean, obviously, a wild 2v2, especially a thematic 2v2, I told these guys, like, hey, let's try and have a theme battle if we can, and also, I think some of these players were a little bit new, let's say. Yeah, it ended up working out quite well for us, but you can see the Bomber just absolutely gets wrecked by those Rattling Gunners once they actually choose to open up on him. But, you know, we can just chalk that up to, again, Skaven shenanigans. Clearly someone paid those weapon teams off so that Ikit and Skrolk would both, you know, potentially die in this battle. You can speculate in the comments as to who may have done that, whether it was the rat in the red armor, or maybe it was the one with the weird claw thing. Who knows? Not this guy with the weird claw thing. You know what I mean. The other weird claw thing. Anyway, you can see the Skaven just getting pushed back on all fronts here. This other chopper still has a bit of main gun ammunition to go after the big bell, and it is going to get some reasonably good work done there. You can see the closer you are, the more of those spread shots will actually make contact, and if you make contact with all of them, it does a legitimate amount of damage for sure. But yeah, at this point, the last of the Death Runners being finished off by the Norgrimling's Ironbreakers. The few Bugman's Rangers that remain have just about used up all of their ammo, so we are going to push forward. Ungrim now starting to take some shots, and the Warp Fire Throwers as well are going to start to come shoot him with hot radioactive Mountain Dew. Oh yeah. You can see the bomber used up its entire load here, going to come forward. It still has some main gun ammo left, so we're going to see if we can't finish off some of these other units. But yeah, this Warplock engineer seems like he wants some, so Ungrim's going to go ahead and oblige despite the missile fire. Might get a little staggered, but you know, he'll definitely get some attacks in at some point. Oh, there we go. Gets a good hit in. And of course, that Warlock Engineer will be taking hits as well, because Skaven not necessarily known for their high accuracy, at least not certain units. But yeah, at this point, it's just a matter of finishing off these few artillery crews that remain, and satisfying the last of the grudges. You can see the DAWI pushing forward here, and the Bugman's Rangers are actually going to be a really nice unit to push up into this position, because they have a missile block chance and regeneration. They are a little bit faster than most dwarves as well, so the slowing effect, while it still will be pretty brutal, isn't going to be quite as brutal as it otherwise would be. And oh man, that's an awesome shot right there. Ungrim at the head of these Bugman's Rangers here, just, you know, trudging heavy metal style into this gunfire. Super awesome. Super, super awesome. And yeah, like I said, not the closest battle in the world. I will say my opponent did admit in the lobby afterwards that he's not super experienced with multiplayer. So, you know, you guys try and be nice to him a little bit in the comments. This wasn't meant to be a competitive battle. Again, it's just a themed 2v2 for fun, so it is what it is. He might have just forgot about them. You know, it happens to all of us, especially if you're newer to multiplayer. But yeah, you can see the Warp Fire Throwers getting taken out by the Rune of Wrath and Ruin, by that Rune Smith there. And yeah, the Rune Lord also pushing forward here. Dragonback Slayers standing here, wishing that there was a hell pit to slay, instead just, you know, contenting themselves with tearing apart these heathen war machines. And the rest of the Skaven forces shatter, so that will be it. Big thanks to everyone involved. Yeah, in terms of the breakdown, honestly, this all DAWI Vanguard against Skaven, I don't know if it's necessarily competitive, but certainly if you catch your opponent off guard and you're able to generate a lot of value very quickly, you may be able to just win that way. You know, if you do bring the bombers, or even just regular gyros, and you're able to get in, you know, with the mass vanguard and very quickly shut down the Skaven's ranged tools to deal with the gyros, you can potentially even win that way. So maybe there is something to learn from this match. As it is, though, those Bugman's Rangers, man, I just love them as a unit. Racked up 112, 106 here, XP chevrons to go around. Regular Rangers with 59 and XP chevrons, super cost effective. Norgrimling's Ironbreakers literally didn't even get touched. I mean, they barely lost any unit models. As for Black Iron here, under the name Baxter Stockman, his Longbeards definitely pushed forward, got a ton of kills, 141 on those Dragonback Slayers, 88 for the Norgrimling's Ironbreakers, and of course doing a ton of damage to the old Doom Wheel at the beginning. Ikit on his Doom Wheel can be a bit of a problem for the dwarves, so definitely the Ulthar's Raiders there being very key in that aspect. As for the Skaven here, yeah, the Plague Monks running into that frontline engagement definitely was really rough. It probably should have hung back and tried to, you know, stay a little bit closer to the artillery. You do want to fight up and away from the artillery, yes, but probably not that far up and away, and you probably want to try and maybe not take all of the corals to the face. I mean, granted, this is just such an overwhelming amount of ranger fire, but it may have been worth it for our opponents to just try and overload all of their infantry, like on the Black Iron, for example, and then come sweep me up. But as it happened, we were able to kind of push forward on all fronts with that mass vanguard and just, yeah, get it done. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this theme 2v2. Not the most competitive match, but certainly a ton of fun and some beautiful cinematic shots and grudges being satisfied. So hopefully you enjoyed that. If you do like this sort of content, be sure to like, subscribe, hit that bell notification button so every time I upload a new video, you'll be notified. If you want to support me in a more personal way, be sure to become a member here on YouTube or a patron on Patreon. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you next time.